Welcome back, Canada Catholic. So, like I said, this flip tonight is not due until Friday, and it's going to be keeping pretty short, and we're mainly talking about Renaissance writing, all right? For particularly the big three Renaissance writers that we need to know of as it pertains to leading up to the Renaissance, right? So, now, writings in general wrote more about philosophy, scholarly articles, they write guidebooks for men and women so they can achieve success, right? Now, the big three writers that we got to talk about actually started all the way back in the late Middle Ages. The main guy is St. Thomas Aquinas, right? So some of you have already probably heard of St. Thomas Aquinas before, but he was around and did most of his work during the late Middle Ages around 1225. So he rebirthed Aristotle's work and actually brought back major amounts of intelligence, right? So, and he also brought about the birth of scholasticism. Now, up underneath this right here, little sub-bullet point, scholasticism is the idea of organized education, all right? So a lot of the monasteries started branching out and creating things that we now call universities, all right? And the ironic part about it is that we originally got the ideas of universities from the Islamic faith that had set up in the south of Spain. But St. Thomas Aquinas' big thing was he actually took Aristotle's old work that had originally been taken from Greek and then translated into Latin, and then he translated it from Latin and back into what? Anybody? No, okay, so more vernacular language, okay? And vernacular language is how we speak to each other. So your common languages like French, German, Spanish, English, all those things, right? So St. Thomas Aquinas is a very important figure. Underline him, star him, make sure you remember him, okay? Then there was this guy, Petrarch, right? He showed up in about 1341 AD, okay? We're going to come back to him in about a second, though, because this guy came first, and somehow I messed up the transition on that. So this guy is much more important. His name is Dante, all right? Dante Alighieri, if you want to know his last name as well. But he's Italian, all right? Somewhere on here, right? Italian. He was around during the early 1300s and did most of his work then. So he's an epic poet, okay? He brought back the epic literature that had fallen off during the Middle Ages. Now, his famous work is called the Divine Comedy. Now, in the Divine Comedy, it's made up of it's a poem that's 1,400 lines long and can be broken up into three sections, okay? In the three sections, he is led by the Roman philosopher Virgil through the layers of hell, purgatory, and heaven, okay? So his most famous one of all those three is the Inferno, okay? And that section of the poem is called Dante's Inferno, all right? Now, this is actually a map of hell that that Botticelli completed based off of his work. And as you can see, it's made up of 9 concentric circles, right? So there's apparently 9 layers to hell where all of the sins are turned against the sinner. He also believes that so as you can see, like it's a lot of earth that's been displaced and it goes into the earth, and in the center of the earth being punished is Satan down here. If there's this giant hole that is AKA what we know as hell, right? That means that a lot of earth had to be displaced to create this hole. So where the earth went to create hell actually made the mountain of purgatory. And purgatory comes into major play when we get into the stuff about the Reformation. So, what's up, Mr. Wallace?
I'm sorry. Are you talking to somebody?
No, I'm making a flip, so you're now in the background of the homework.
I apologize.
No, you're good.
Is there a student in there? There's the Butch.
I don't know.
Okay.
There's somebody in there.
Pause it for a second.
All right, no, you're good. You can wait to the people. So anyway, there was Mr. Wallace, guest appearance. He's done what many people have never been able to and appear in a flip candidly. Now, so Petrarch is another guy. Petrarch is around from 1341. Dante actually was a very trusted friend of his father's, right? Petrarch is one of the founders of the Renaissance in general. He's considered the father of humanism. He actually took a lot of old Roman texts from their libraries and their scrolls and translated that back into vernacular language as well. So, as you can see, these writers were mainly known for rebirthing old styles of writing and old intelligence. Now, Petrarch came up with a lot of his own modern ideas as well, but he's mainly considered the father of humanism. So, we're going to stop here for now, and then we're going to pick up later on as our real Renaissance writers are Baldassare Castiglione and Niccolo Machiavelli. So we'll talk about them when we get back on Friday. All right, so I'll see y'all then. Have a good evening, Canada Catholic.